All right. Hello. Welcome back to the Key to Success podcast. I'm your host, Terrell Key. And man, I have an episode today. Your girl is tripping. Your girl, Jessica Clark, is tripping. It is a big deal in the St. Louis area right now. Oh, your girl is tripping, man. I understand people have their views, but man, this is not the way. This is not the move as a school board member. So, for my people that are not from St. Louis or you're not privy to the news or whatever, I put a link to the article in the description. But Jessica Clark is a school board member at Rockwood Summit. Oh no, Rockwood School District. Rockwood Summit is just one of the high schools, but Rockwood School District. This school district is one of the largest districts in Missouri, one of the largest districts in Missouri, and she sits as a school board member. She sits as a board member, right? So she's an elected official. Jessica has had, not Jessica, but Rockwood has had their fair share of issues in the past, man. Especially when it comes to the community, parents, and all that. They have been going through it like last year and then also this year. There's just been a lot going on, right, when it comes to Rockwood School District and just all of this different stuff, right? So Jessica seems to be the community's conservative answer for everything that's going on. But before I get into it, my name is Terrell Key, and I'm an assistant principal, former school counselor, former Illinois School Counselor of the Year, president of Illinois School Counselor Association. And I don't know, man, I've been a teacher, substitute, bunch of other stuff, right? So, that's me. That's who I am. But man, today's topic is so interesting to me. I don't plan on being here long. I know a lot of times I take y'all on a journey that's a lot longer than where I started. The show typically started with me doing the shorter episodes. I was trying to keep them around 25 minutes. Now, man, we moved up to like an hour and a half. So, but I'm not gonna do that to you today. Today is gonna be short. I have to go to a mastermind later on today, so I got a little bit to learn tonight. So, I'm just just gonna tell you about your girl, man, in Rockwood. So Rockwood has has been having major issues in the past. So that was recently, I think it was last year. Last year they had they had a parent meeting and it went viral, right? It was like all over. They were talking about, hold on one second. They were talking about CRT and all of this stuff and how the school district's bringing this in. And it was a big deal. Like, it was parents on both sides during this board meeting. So you had parents on one side and they're arguing like, hey, like, we need to do this thing. We need to teach history the right way. Then you have the other side and they're like, yo, man, like, we need to stop doing this. We need to stop talking about this stuff in our schools. We want school choice because we don't want to be wrapped up in this, right? So they got all of this going on, right? All of this stuff happening in Rockwood. All right. So hold on. So Rockwood was all over the news for this. So like everybody's talking about critical race theory. Listen, man, like most of us have no idea what critical race theory actually is. So allow me to read to you, because a lot of us don't even in education, like they say that we're indoctrinated in this in schools. Not true. Hold on one second. I'm gonna read this to you. So they're saying educators are all indoctrinated in critical race theory. Listen to this, man. And you can put a 1 in the comments if you think I fully understand this, right? And I'm on like national diversity equity teams and stuff like that. And you put a 2 in the chat if you think that, man, maybe I don't fully understand this. All right, here we go. So critical race theory. Intellectual and social movement and loosely organized framework of legal analysis, right? Legal. I'm not a lawyer, right? A legal analysis. This is all taken from Britannica too, but based on the premise that race is not a natural, biologically grounded feature of physically distinct subgroups of human beings, but a socially constructed, culturally invented category that is used to oppress and exploit people of color. Critical race theorists hold that racism is inherent in the laws and legal institutions of the United States insofar as they function to create and maintain social, economic, and political inequalities between whites, non-whites, especially African Americans, Critical race theorists are generally dedicated to applying their understanding of the institutional or structural nature of racism to the concrete, if distant goal of eliminating all race-based and other unjust hierarchies. If you think that we're teaching this in schools, put a one. Put a one if you really believe that teachers are actually teaching this in schools. Most of we're not even lawyers. Like most of us are not even lawyers. Like I mean, like I get how people could loosely base like diversity and equity and inclusion work in that, but it is totally different. Like the DEI work is literally talking about creating opportunities for students. Like you could it's not even always about race. Sometimes you could have handicapped students and you could be doing things for handicapped students, right? Like say a wheelchair accessibility is a thing. Making sure you have braille like on the doors and stuff like that. There's all these other things that fall within the categories of DEI that are not necessarily race related. Race is a part of it, but it's about creating opportunities for students, right? So they're in this school board meeting and they're going back and forth, and no one's actually listening to the other person. They're really just going back and forth, and everyone's just like pot shotting each other, right? So I can show you better than I can tell you. Let me pull this up real quick. Hold on, let me figure out which one. Okay, not that one. It is find the right clip because I want to show you just a couple of these people and like just how hard they are going about what they're doing, right? So let me see. Let me share screen. And then we're gonna go to tab. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. So, all right, so boom. All right, so here we go. And then I'll make this full screen. And we're just gonna go watch a couple of these people and just talk about it.
In your own words.
I think critical race theory is something that is based on the belief that all whites are inherently racist, whether they know it or not, that the entire...
Okay, so pause it, right? Did you hear what she said? She thinks, keyword thinks, not know, thinks. This is what she thinks critical race theory is. And listen, I think it's on us as leaders in education to actually get out here and explain it, to tell our own story first, right? So she says she thinks it is, let's go back just a little bit to her beginning.
That all whites are inherently racist, whether they know it or not, that the entire...
Okay, whether they know it or not. So now let's go back over to our definition here, right? So we're going to go back over to our definition. So she says she believes that all whites are racist. So I'm not even going to read the full definition because it's pretty long. But all right, so it's an intellectually and social movement and loosely organized framework of legal analysis based on the premise that race is not natural, biological. It's basically like it's a man-made thing, right? And laws are kind of structurally supporting it. Nothing about what she's saying, right? Nothing about it at all. So here we go.
Our society has been designed and built up with white supremacy in mind. And if you want to know...
Nothing that she said is what was in the definition. Keep in mind, so she's literally up here speaking in front of people. To me, to be honest, like, you know, I mean, I understand people are entitled to having their opinion. And she said the word think first, right? She said this is what she thinks. So I'll give her that. But she's sort of like, to me, hold on, let me put myself up here. She's sort of to me like the person that goes to class that didn't read the book, and she's trying to give you the answers to the question because she thinks she knows. But hold on, let me go back to this. Here we go. Boom. All right.
A definition for yourself. A great place to go to read about it is at City Journal. They are online and they talk about a lot of current issues.
Do not go to her website because clearly she does not know what she's talking about.
And they talk about critical race theory.
My name is Amy and I am a resident of Wildwood, so I'm part of the Rockwood School District. And I'm just, my heart's full of optimism when I hear all of you all say that race is not a factor and you're not assuming someone's character by the color of their skin. I think that's absolutely wonderful and we should all give credit to that. As a person of Asian descent, I was adopted by a Dutch family. I am an American. My guiding light is the Constitution, and I am a damn...
So I just want to say right now, she's clearly trying to appeal to the people in the room, right? She's trying to appeal to them. She's talking about her background, how she's an American. She believes in the ideals of America. All right.
Patriot. But I also know that for years, I have been judged by who I am. Yes, I have. And if you just let me speak, I would appreciate that.
Watch this. Hey, look. I want y'all to look at my girl right here. Hold on, wait. Let me make her bigger. Watch this. Look at my girl down here in the right down here. Can you see that? I want y'all to look at my girl's face down here when she says she's been judged. Here we go. Look at her face.
And I also know
So look, she's with her
that for years, I have been judged by who I am. Yes, I have.
So the thing is, like, no matter what this lady says, she tried to appeal. She tried to be reasonable with this person, right? So there are going to be people in life that you can reason with, and there are going to be people in life that you absolutely, where did I go? You absolutely cannot reason with everyone, right? You absolutely cannot. So this is definitely one of those people. But hold on, let me go back to the clip.
And if you just let me speak, I would appreciate that. 4 years in middle school at a private school, kids would wear Made in the USA t-shirt because I was joking to a friend. In daycare in Wildwood, my child, when she was 4, another child in the class said, I don't want to play with you because I don't like the color yellow. So she's giving, where I go? Hold on, let me move me back up. So she's out here listing for real experiences, right? But people are so set, so hardened in their ways, so hardened in their hearts, they can't even hear her. She tried to appeal to them, right? I'm an American. Like, I was raised by a Dutch family. Like, I believe in the ideals of America. They clap. Now she says, but, right? So, but disqualified everything else that she said. So now people are shaking their heads. She's sitting up there telling her experiences, right? What she's going through. But this is how divided the community is, right? So let me get back to the clip. This is in Wildwood. This is exactly. It is the parent. I am not saying it is all of you wonderful people. I am not saying that. But it is real. It is happening. I have received private messages about going back to China, even though I'm not Chinese. She is literally like going in and opening up. But look, people are so set in their ways. Like, so this is like I want y'all to tell me in the chat, how do you lead this situation? How do you lead this community? Keep in mind, for my people that don't know, Rockwood is I would say probably like an upper middle class, like high upper middle class community, right? So keep that in mind, right? So these aren't necessarily poor people at all. Eureka, all of these, like the whole Rockwood School District, they got a little money out there. That I have brought the virus. I am not the virus. Okay? All we want is just a little acknowledgement of what is happening. I'm not saying force it down each other's throat in a school, but it's just an acknowledgement of what is happening. It is real. Whether you like it or not, it is happening. It is happening and is real. So if we're not going to do CRT, if we're not going to do 1619, if we're not going to choose for our children and understanding and promote critical thought of the first immigration. So she's now saying, listen, if we're not going to do any of the things, where am I at? Bring me back. If we're not going to do any of the things that, like that people are advocating for, right? Like, we're not going to talk about the 1619 project, which is talking about the origins of like how Black people came to this country and like the story, right? Can't talk about that. You can't talk about CRT, which, I mean, many educators don't even know about. You can't do diversity and equity work. Then what do we do to address this problem? This is a very logical, a very reasonable approach as a parent, right? Act of 1882, or with the year the first shores of slavery in Virginia, what curriculum can we provide our kids of what real historical events happened in our U.S. history, your U.S. history, my U.S. history? What is acceptable then?
I mean, that is as reasonable as they come, right? So you would think, and see, this is why sometimes like these forums, like where there's so many people in there and it's just jam-packed like that, they're not really the move for having an intelligent conversation, a reasonable conversation, because the unreasonable are in there with the reasonable. Now, I'm not just saying that she's reasonable because she's saying something that I necessarily agree with, because I think the next person is going to be reasonable too. I can't remember. Just let me see.
So I think I have to maybe give you the same answer I gave a while ago, but I will add this. No, there's no perfect place on earth. There are no perfect people.
But keep in mind, no one is advocating for us as educators to talk about the United States being perfect. I mean, I believe in America, but we all, like, everyone, like, even on my show, I talk to you about the mistakes I made. It does it mean that I don't think that I'm a good person because I made mistakes? So I think it's not a good faith or place.
I've had people say things to me that were hurtful and ugly, and I understand that sometimes that happens in our life.
So now she just disqualified all of this lady's experiences, right? It's just something people said to you.
But I think when we talk about history, we need to instill in our students, our future leaders of our country, that we do have a great country.
But can you not instill that you have a great country while being honest? And I think that's the thing. Like, you want to be honest, but you want to be honest in a way, of course, like you don't want to degrade the country and stuff like that, because at the same time, like, you do have to have a volunteer military, right? So you do want people to sign up for the military. But at the same time, you got to be honest. Like, if you made mistakes, you made mistakes, man. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. People are fallible. We're all fallible.
There have been mistakes. There's always going to be mistakes, but it's the way that it's taught. And I think you understand that. I think everybody understands. No one in this room is going to.
And then also, some things just aren't necessarily mistakes. Some things are intentional. Like, some things, like, you can't say that racism was a mistake, or slavery was a mistake. You can't say people calling her and telling her that she brought the virus is a mistake. That is not a mistake. A mistake is, I spilled some water on you, right? That's a mistake. Some things are also intentional cruelty. So this is a bad faith argument.
To say that there aren't some people who do things they shouldn't do, who say things they shouldn't say. We all know that. But we don't want to tell our students that we are basically a horrible nation that has to totally
And no educator that I know of, hopefully no educator that I know of working here is going to say something like that. Like, why would you say that?
Entirely focus on all the wrongs to people without letting our kids know. But look how far we've come, and look at.
But you can't tell how far you come if you didn't tell where you started. You can't tell how far you come without talking about where you came from. Like, this is why, like, her argument to me doesn't really sit right. Like, I mean, and I really don't care about either side of the party, but this is a bad faith argument. It's not well thought out.
Look at our future and how we can each work to make it a better future.
And then, how do you work to make something better if you don't even know what you're working towards? So, I mean, that to me is just a bad argument from her. So let me move this out of the way, and then we'll go back to me. All right. So yeah, so Rockwood has been going through it, right? Rockwood has literally, this was a big ordeal, right? This is a big ordeal. So the recent election, in comes your girl, Jessica Clark. In comes Jessica Clark. She is a Rockwood School Board member. This is one of the highest seats that you could have in the district. One of the highest seats that you could possibly have. So what is a school board member? School board member is an elected official. So you got to get out there. You got to stump, like, around election time, which we'll see coming up here in November. you'll see school board members putting out their signs and stuff like that. They'll put out their signs. They'll get out there, they'll campaign and try to earn your vote, right? The school board establishes local control. This is the community controlling the school. Why does the community even deserve to have control over the school? Because the community puts forth their tax dollars, right? They are investing money into their schools for their children. Our children are going to the schools. They are public owners of the school. Now, every parent doesn't have the sway that the elected official has. The elected officials, the school board members, have the ability, right? They have the ability to shape the direction of the district, like to share the aspirations of the community. So they are the representatives of their constituents, the people within the community. That's what a school board member is, right? So Jessica, Jessica is interesting. She's an interesting case as a school board member because she has a show, right? Our show has gained a lot of popularity, right? And the thing is, just like we were talking about the country, like we all grow, we all evolve, right? Jessica has an interesting starting point. She has a very interesting starting point. She used to call herself a sugar baby and a sugar coach. I'm going to show you. Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to show y'all a quick clip of her talking about, look, I can show you better than I can tell you because, I think it's not my place to tell you exactly where she started. I'll let her tell you where she started. So here we go. I'm going to share this screen right here. And this is her.
The fuck is up, ladies? So it's me, Jessica Laurent, St. Louis's one and only sugar lifestyle coach. And as you know, the second sugar ball is happening.
So she is a sugar coach, a sugar lifestyle coach, which means she'll tell you.
It's a parade party, and it's gonna be amazing, and you're not gonna want to miss it. But sugaring can be a little scary and a little intimidating and a little unbelievable. But you're talking to the woman who walked into the first sugar ball.
Look at the shirt that she has on. Look at the shirt that she has on.
In February, single, and walked out with the CEO. And 6 months later, happily ever after, living the dream, like literally living the dream.
So her sugaring background led her to getting a husband. She walked in, she said single, she walked out with a husband. So that's who she is, right? Who she was. I'm not gonna say that's who she is because she says within her next clip, the next clip that I'll show, that she's grown, right? So she said that she's grown. She's done the things that she wanted to do in her life, right? And they turned out, I guess, the way that she wanted them to. She said she's living happily ever after starting off as a sugar baby, right? So there's someone that I guess dates wealthier men or something like that from what she was saying. So this is who she is now, all right? So I'm only going to show a quick clip of this because I don't want to be on for a long time today. Like I said, I promised y'all that I wasn't going to take all day. So here we go. It is, here we go. Okay, so we're going to show this one. So if you read the title, she insults kids with special needs, the LGBTQIA community. All right, here we go.
My name is Jessica Laurent. If you do not know me, I am the host of the Jessica Laurent Show every Saturday night. And as of April, I am also a new school board member.
So she has some power now. She has some sway over the school district, right? She gets to shape the direction, the aspirations and goals of our school district, right? How we utilize funding.
Recovering liberal. You might see me in a corner distraction from time to time. Sometimes it gets a little sketchy. But I've really only been on this side for maybe 2.5 years. But they say the truth will set you free.
So she's talking about being on a side, right? Being on a side. Who are we working for, right? Like when you're in school, right? Who are you working for? Are you working for a political side? Is that what you're doing? Or are you doing something else? There might be some people that are a little bit smaller than you that are a little bit more important than the political side. But let's get back to your girl.
And once my eyes were open, I just went crazy. I just went crazy. So I'm gonna keep it pithy. I learned that word recently. Keep it short and sweet. Born and raised, city of St. Louis. My mother spent 17 years in prison. My father 10 years in and out of prison. It was kind of rough. It was rough growing up.
So her parents have, you know, an interesting past too, right? So her parents have, you know, been in prison and, you know, got in trouble, right? So that's one thing, right? Totally understandable, right? But she had opportunities. She had opportunities.
My great grandparents raised us. They did the best that they could, but you can only do so much when you're 67 and 77, raising 3 kids under 5. So there was some abuse happening within the house. There was abuse outside the house. I'm pregnant, 15, had an abortion.
So she's naming all of these things that she went through that shaped her life, right?
Pregnant, 17. Now I have a beautiful young daughter over there. Now I have 2 daughters here.
Yeah. Right. And so she said she had kids at 17 or stuff like that too, right? So here she goes. We're not judging her, you know, because, you know, that's not what we're doing.
They're proud conservatives.
Right.
They're watching Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro and just going crazy, and it's great. And I love to see it. And so when I see all of the young generation actually being engaged, that gives me a lot of hope. As a school board member, it's scary. I mean, they're fighting hard to take control of our children.
So they're fighting. See, look, this is what I'm talking about. So this school is already embattled, right? They're already embattled, man. Everyone's already divided. You saw earlier, this lady's telling personal stories, and people, like, they could not even hear her because of how siloed they are, right? Keep in mind, the entire goal of that meeting should have been on children, on how to make things better for children, not make things better for adults, not score political points. What do we do to make things better for children? That's the only thing that matters.
Like, the scary part right now is that a lot of us parents we've gotten a back seat. We don't show up anymore because now our kids aren't in masks and we can't see the physical tyranny, but that doesn't mean that it is gone. That was just one thing.
Tyranny, right? How do you work with a tyrannical party? How do you build something with someone that's tyrannical? Like, how's that even possible? Like, you can't do that. Like, so when you're labeling the other side as tyrannical, you have othered them to the point where it's not possible to even work with them. Is this good leadership? Is that how we lead?
That they can no longer validate. The data was too obvious. You can't, there's no justification for having our kids in masks, but there's still things happening. We talk about critical race theory, it's there. It may not be a physical.
So she's saying critical race theory is there.
Physical document. They may not be reading Richard Delgado, but trust and believe.
So they might not actually, critical race theory is there, but they might not actually be studying the critical race theories. Make that make sense. Critical race theory is there. All right, they're teaching algebra in class. Algebra is there. They might not be looking at any math work, but it's there. Like, I mean, it doesn't even make sense. Make it make sense to me. How are we implementing? I'll let her tell you.
Those teachers that come from those universities have been indoctrinated. It is a filter. When I say I am a Christian,
I had no idea what critical race theory was in college. I didn't know about it until it became popular. No one's indoctrinating educators with critical race theory. That is not true.
Through a Christian lens, everything I see is through the filter of Christ. When you have people that are indoctrinated with critical race theory, everything they see goes through that filter. So when they see Black children, they see. So you're comparing. All right. So see, like this is how, like, you other people, and then you make a situation unfixable, right? This is terrible leadership. I see everything through a Christian background, right? In a room full of potentially Christian people, Christian conservatives, right? That's the lens that I see things from, because I'm good, I'm pure, right? I'm wearing white, I'm pure, right? Look at the symbolism. And then they see everything through the race of, the lens of critical race theory. I mean, that is crazy. Like, this is a school board leader. This is a leader in the district, right? This person has influence over how we spend our finances. And look at what she's doing. Somebody that's oppressed. When they see white children, they see them oppressing. They see that.
When we see that is not true. That is a horrible statement. When educators see white children, they see the oppressor. That is not true. We see children. Like this is a terrible, 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 terrible message. This is a terrible representation of the school district, of the educators that she serves. Like she is a board member that is supposed to be there to support these educators. This is a terrible example of what a board member should be doing. The school board should be the community working with the school. It should not be the community accusing the school of things that they don't even believe in. The school people within the school are divided on a lot of these things too. Like this is just categorically untrue.
And dichotomy, so it's gonna be in everything that they do. So please believe it's still there. When we talk about this transgender crap, you're not gonna do that to my kids. My kids don't get to leave their house as girls and go to school and be validated as boys.
And the thing is, like, she doesn't realize. I mean, like, look, and this is the thing about where am I at? This is the thing about leadership, right? You are entitled to have your personal opinions and things like that, right? But when you step out there and you lead with the fact that you're a board member, you are representing the school district. You are representing Rockwood School District when you are saying these claims. You're a leader within the district. What are you saying to the trans community when they have a significantly higher rate of suicide? Like, is this smart? Behind closed doors, have your opinions and your feelings, but you are representing the entire board. You are representing a very, very large school district with 4 high schools. You are representing the educators there, the parents there, the community, the business. Like, you're representing all of that with this language.
Please believe the fight is still real. We got to fight more than ever right now. So I'm working on this new thing called the Confident Conservative because we lack.
You're fighting more than ever. Fighting. That's what you're doing. You're fighting. Like, is this the language that you want to use? Fighting? Like in a divided school district? Fighting? Is that how you want to lead?
We won't stand up and say what needs to be said because what they're gonna call you a white supremacist. They call me a white supremacist. So you have to say it has no value. They're gonna call you a racist.
And to be honest with you, look, on this point, I think that calling people unless they are structurally doing something to you, causing you harm, I think that it's a bad policy because you shut down conversations. So if that is what's going on, I don't rock with that either. Like, I think that we need to figure out a way to talk to people. But to me, she seems like a bad faith actor. She would not be someone that I would like to have a discussion with because it does not seem like what she's saying is rooted in civility and bringing people together. Like, it seems like she seeks to divide. Like, she is not, like, when I say I want to talk to people that I might not necessarily agree with, I want to talk to people that are acting in good faith, that want to bring people together, people that have good character, that disagree with me. I am okay with having a conversation with. But when you're up there and you're talking like this about children, I do not agree with it. And I think that it's only to score political points. If I had to bet, I mean, I don't want to speak for her, and I'm not a psychic. But if I had to bet, this is a launch pad. And sometimes being a school board member is a launch pad for a political career. If I had to bet, she's going to run for political office here in the near future in one of these elections, maybe for like the state level or maybe even federal level, because she's going out there and she's going fully extreme and stumping fully extreme on some of this stuff when it doesn't seem like she has the best interest of children in mind, or the school district or the educators, any of that in mind, when we're losing educators left and right. So she's not somebody I would want to talk to.
I have people that come to the school board meetings with their gay flags and their masks, and I'm transphobic, homophobic. I use the word libtard. They said I was an ableist.
So what good does that do? Like, I mean, like, so calling somebody names because they disagree with you, like, what good does that do? Like, she talks about people calling her names, but it's okay for her to call other people names. Like, this is just ridiculous. And like, you're stoking the flames of division.
I mean, they come in with the kids in the wheelchairs and everything. Like, oh, just because of neighbors. Whatever. I was talking to you. You are a libtard, and I mean that. And I said.
So she's talking about kids in wheelchairs. I mean, what in the world has gotten into people, man? Like, I mean, it's okay to have differing opinions with, like, you're talking about kids in wheelchairs like that, like that's your target now. And keep in mind, like when we're talking about wheelchairs, we're talking about race, we're talking about culture, we're talking about all these different things. We're talking about opening doors for people, making sure the kids have access to things. This lady is up here talking about kids in wheelchairs, like that is your target. Like someone, like, I mean, that is a very weak, soft target, like to score political points on. I'm telling you, like, I mean, and the crazy thing is, like, today, because things are so divided, like, and people don't know how to, like, we cannot figure out how to communicate with each other. Like, there's a chance that she could fool around and win a seat in a higher level office just because of how extreme she is. And I mean, she's just extreme and trying to score political points that make absolutely no sense. She's just going after anyone, and people are just clapping and cheering her on because she's on their side. Like, people have no idea, like, I mean, no ability to break out of their silo. Like, it would seem like here, even if I was a conservative, I would be like, yo, man, like, why are you insulting kids in wheelchairs? What's up with that? Do you not like kittens either? Like, what else do you not like, man? Like, what other type of child do you not like? Because I mean, this is insane to me. And this is what some of our political leaders are looking like. This is trash. Like, I would literally not ever want to have, and I would love to talk to people that I disagree with, but I would never want to have a conversation with a person like this.
But the fight has just started. So when we talk about the elements of being confident, that takes knowledge, faith, and grit. You need to know that you know what you know. The truth is the truth, regardless of whose mouth it comes out of. You don't have to be black to speak on black issues. The truth is the truth, regardless of whose mouth it comes out of. If it's the truth.
And she ain't telling the truth at all. She wouldn't know the truth if somebody threw it and hit her with it. Like, she has no idea what the truth is. And I mean, I can't imagine, man. Like, I mean, like, the heartlessness it takes to insult children with disability. Like, what in the world is wrong? Like, I mean, and people are clapping and cheering for this because she's on our side.
You're speaking. So you gotta have knowledge. Yeah. Then you gotta have faith. All right. Okay, because some of them doors gonna be closed in your face. You're gonna feel like you're losing the battle, but you have to have faith in something.
All right, this is enough of this. You know what? I can't even deal with her. Like, like she has to go. All right, so like normally, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Normally, I am a person that is not in favor of doing like the cancellation and stuff like that. I'm in favor of communication, having civilized conversations. I think canceling is so easy. Like just in general, because like you just get rid of someone and you don't have to actually have a conversation and face ideas. This is lunacy. If she wants to have that on her platform and her thing, that's fine. But she should not have a role when it comes to child safety, emergency plans, how we spend our finances to protect students, whether or not kids with disabilities have accessibility. She should not have a hand. She should not have a role. She should stay far away. If she wants to go out and run for political office, it's one thing. But this is the one time I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like she literally, like she has me ready to break in my entire policy, my thought process on cancellation. She needs to go. Like she could just go for real, seriously. Like this is ridiculous. I mean, like if it's one group of people that I'm gonna fight for, no matter what, it is children. Like I do not rock with her in any way, and she literally she should not be on the board. She should not. And I know they're going to vote for her, like whether or not she should be on the board. She has people that are backing her. Hopefully they take the time to maybe listen to a child. It'd be interesting if they just got rid of some of the adult voices for once and just put up a child's voice and just let them talk about what it means for them to have access to a ramp, she's talking about kids in wheelchairs. So that's why I'm going back to it. Or like having elevator access, or like, maybe their class is on the second floor and they want to be in there with their classmates, but the elevator doesn't work, or the wheelchair thing that connects to the stairs is not working. What does that mean to that child? Like when they have to be separated from their friends and their classmates because it's something that they cannot control. It's something that they might wish was better. Like, everyone, like with a disability or that's in a wheelchair doesn't feel like they want to change anything. So I'm not saying that in any way. But, you know, I mean, that is a terrible example of leadership. This is a terrible example of what adults should be that are school leaders. I would hope more for people that run for school board positions, but unfortunately right now it is a launching pad. And I think that she took advantage of the long history of division within Rockwood. She is a snake oil salesman, if I had to call it, and hopefully she's gone. So let me know in the comments what you think. I'm not gonna lie, she actually got me kind of hot right now. I like just even watching this the second time, it just made me a little bit more mad. She needs to go, in my opinion. I'm gonna keep it honest with you. I hope that she's removed from the board. Let me know in the comments what you think, and then I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.